If we practice the Lamrim sincerely, if we really take refuge in Lamrim and we practice it well, a sign that you have practiced Lamrim well will be your attachments do not control you anymore. And when your attachments don't control you anymore, you know what happens? When your attachments don't control you anymore, your mind will be at peace. Whatever you get, you will accept. You will work for others and you will help yourself the right way. Your direction in life will be firm and straight and clear. And your mind will never waver. You will never drop another tear for yourself again.
Yeah.
Why? Everybody cries. The people who have practiced Lamrim cry for others. The people who do not practice Lamrim, they cry for themselves. And all they do is cry for themselves and feel sorry for themselves and think about their problems, think about their hang-ups and what happened to them. Do you know why? Because all they care about is themselves. That's not good or bad, but that creates more selfishness, more unhappiness if you only care about yourself. So if you practice the Lamrim and you do it well, you will see your attachments to things that have controlled you become less. And when those attachments that control you become less and you are in control, you will see the value in your life. You will see what you should do with your life. Whether you're 100, 10, or 50 years old, you will see what you should really do with your life. Do you know why? When you have the clarity of the Lamrim, you realize that you have lived your life for yourself. And that didn't get you far. When you study the Lamrim and practice, you will realize you need to live your life for others. And then when you start realizing you need to live your life for others, you know what happens? Wherever you live, whatever Dharma work you do, you will be happy. And if you don't do Dharma work, you will not be happy. And people who practice the Lamrim will have very strong Guru devotion. Whatever the teacher tells them, they can do it without any problems, without hidden agendas. Do you know why? Because it's not where they live or what they do anymore. It has to benefit others. And those who take confidence in a teacher is giving respect to people who are more learned, who have practiced more. And if you respect those who are more learned and practice more, you will become learned. And you will be able to become very practiced. If you always don't respect people who are more learned and who have practiced more, you will never reach the level. You will always remain where you are. So if our teacher gives us instructions to do this and we're not able to practice or follow, it's not the teacher's fault. It's your fault for not doing real practice. Real practice. Therefore, if we feel that we don't need to listen to a teacher, then we must have the signs of someone greater than a teacher. What's the signs of a person greater than a teacher? They can give up their attachments. They can give up their self-cherishing mind. They can give up their selfish pursuits for others. That's a sign of a real teacher. If a real teacher shows those signs, then everything around that teacher will grow. Why? Because selflessness, working for others, and compassion always touches others. Always. Selfishness doesn't touch people. Selfishness doesn't even touch ourselves. Selflessness to any degree. Overnight selflessness, no. Selflessness to any degree touches other people. So if we want our kids to transform, if we want our neighbors to transform, if we want people who meet us on the streets or in the shops to transform, if we want them to transform, if we want our friends to transform, if we want the center to grow, if we want that to happen, we have to start with ourselves. And we always say it's very hard, but I don't agree. It's only hard because we don't know the benefits. It's only hard because we don't know the benefits. Therefore, Kajip Pabloka Rinpoche in his life was a master of Sutra and Tantra. And he practiced the Lamrim very, very hard. And when he gave initiations such as Chakra Sambhara, Hiruka Vajragini, when he gave initiations, there's a part in the initiation where he invites the wisdom being to dissolve into your body, to plant the seeds of enlightenment in your body. My Guru Geshe-la told me, Geshe-la's passed away already. My Guru Geshe-la told me that when he gave those initiations at that juncture, where he invited Hiruka and Vajragini to enter you, the audience, people in the audience were shaken. They were completely shaken with no control because they can feel the beings entering them and blessing their lives. And some people will witness on the throne, Papa Rinpoche, a third eye will appear on his forehead, open up. Very clearly, people would see that. I heard it many, many times from people, not one or two witnesses. And some people, listen to this. Some people, this was told to me by a very high Rinpoche who's an abbot now. He's 56, 60, something like that. This Rinpoche told me that he himself saw this. That he walked by Pabongka Rinpoche's house, and he saw Pabongka Rinpoche standing in the window. I mean, he was going for his walk, he saw Pabongka in the window. And he looked and said, oh, that's Pabongka Rinpoche. And he looked, and he was watching his way, then he looked again, he saw a red lady. He saw a lady with no clothes. Don't you wish you were there? Yes, he saw a lady with no clothes, red hair, standing where Pabongka Rinpoche was. And he went. And then he went like that, he looked again, and it was Pabongka again. My point, many people have that experience with Pabongka, that he manifests as a tantric deity body. Many people have that experience. So, Pabongka Rinpoche gave those teachings on Lamrim so great that Trijang Rinpoche was in the audience. And Trijang Rinpoche wrote all the notes to the Lamrim. And this book became Enlightenment in the Palm of Your Hand. Written by Trijang Rinpoche, taught by Pabongka. So what you're reading right now is by Pabongka, spoken by Pabongka Dojichang. Pabongka Dojichang means one who's become a Buddha, Vajradhara Buddha. Written down by Trijang Rinpoche. And this came from Tsongkhapa. And this came from Katisha. And this came from the approval of Katisha's monastery. So what you're reading is nothing. Therefore, when you all read the Lamrim, even a mosquito who flies by and hears the sound of the Lamrim will plant seeds in their mind. Do you know when people are dying, or when a person is dead, and you don't have any lamas or monks around to do prayers, you know what's the best thing to do? Is to take a Lamrim, put it on their head, and recite any mantras you know. Anything you know, you put a Lamrim on their head and you say, may they become a fully enlightened being, may they take a good rebirth, so they can practice sincerely in the future again. Very powerful. That's how powerful the Lamrim is. How powerful. And if we have a Lamrim text, we should never put it on the floor. We should never step over it. We should never put it near our shoes. We should put it on a higher point than the floor. We should keep it very clean. And our hands must be very clean. Our hands must be very clean to even touch it. And before we read the Lamrim, this is what we do. We make 3 prostrations to the altar or to the Lamrim. And then afterwards we sit down, we take the Lamrim book, and we put it to our head. This is what Geshe-la taught us. After we put it to our head in respect, then we read it. After we have finished reading it, we put it back on our head. Maybe you take it for a walk. Make it easier for everybody. Take it for a walk. Okay? So, after you read the Lamrim, now he's happy because he's going for a walk. Immediate quiet. So after you read the Lamrim, you put it back on your head. And if you finish reading it for the night or whatever, you put it in a high place or a clean place. You never put the Lamrim or any Dharma books with your magazines and newspapers or just on the table, put your feet on the table. You don't do that. You know why? Because it contains the Buddha's body, speech, and mind in the form of words. Would you put your feet on the Buddha statue? Would you put him on a coffee table with your coffee all that? No. So the Buddha's words is the same as his body. It's the same as his mind. So the Lamrim should be kept very well. And everybody should have the Lamrim. And if you have the fortune to sponsor the reprint of the Lamrim, to give it away, hundreds, very meritorious.